Good evening, news come to you live from the News Hub here at Addis Ababa. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Esiedudate. Here are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Banking sector cleanup claims first prison casualty as court jails defunct Capital Bank founder William Atu-Acien 15 years for stealing. But there is a window of hope if he is able to pay up.
Former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dape's case adjourned until determination by Chief Justice after Office of Special Prosecutors petition to remove presiding judge.
And speakers at Media General's National Dialogue on Asset Declaration advocate for more stringent sanction regime for public officers in asset declaration process.
The nearest we came to is to pass the Public Officers Asset Declaration Act. And that, I think, was a shoddy job done by Parliament.
Also tonight, floods in part of the Volta region following excess water spillage from Akonsumbo and Bon dams reached catastrophic levels, with schools closed down, roads ripped apart, and power supply cut off.
60 years ago, we experienced a similar thing in 1963. Our forebears told us we saw it as history, but now that history is recurring.
And later on in business, inflationary pressure is expected to be sustained as government puts in effort to get the economy back on track.
On the international front, more than 600 people, mostly children, die of diphtheria in Nigeria.
It's a packed bulletin. Do stay with us. Get interactive with us as well. We'll be happy to hear what you think of the many stories we have for you tonight.
We begin from the courts where founder and CEO of defunct Capital Bank, William Atu-Acien, ran out of lifelines at the Commercial Court 7 of the Accra High Court finally sentenced him to imprisonment for money laundering and stealing. This follows his failure to pay in full an amount of 90 million cedis he agreed to pay the state after entering a plea bargain in December 2022. Lord Idoasari reports.
Pain, distraught, and regret.
That story. Let me bring you timelines of how this event unfolded. It first began in August 2017, where the Bank of Ghana revoked the license of Capital Bank and declared it insolvent. In August 2017, again, William Atu-Acien and 3 others were charged with multiple counts of stealing and money laundering of various sums in excess of 250 million cedis. In December 2022, William Atu-Acien entered into an agreement to refund 90 million cedis or be sentenced. All other accused persons were found not guilty of the charges. Then in April 2023, the Attorney General applied for custodial sentence, saying the payment terms have been breached. In September 2023, William Atu-Acien was sentenced to 15 years for paying 37 out of the 90 million cedis. So let's now bring you the story of how the founder and CEO of defunct Capital Bank, William Atu-Acien, ran out of lifelines as the Commercial Court 7 of the Accra High Court finally sentenced him to imprisonment for money laundering and stealing.
Pain, distraught, and regret. These words summed up the reaction of former CEO of Capital Bank, William Atu-Acien. Although partially masked with the aid of a face mask, his countenance was telling after Justice Erichie Bafo read out the judgment against him. After pleading guilty to 16 counts of stealing and money laundering, Atu-Acien entered a plea bargain with the state under Section 35(7) of the Court Act 459. He was to pay 90 million Ghana cedis, but paid 30 million on December 1, 2022. As part of the agreement, the former Capital Bank CEO was to pay the remaining 60 million Ghana cedis in tranches in 2023, 20 million Ghana cedis by April 28, another 20 million cedis by August 31, and finally 20 million cedis by December 15, 2023. The court cautioned him that failure to meet any of the deadlines would result in a custodial sentence. However, by April 28, Ato Essien had only raised 4 million cedis and another 3 million by October 12. Justice Chey Balfour's patience had grown thin after lawyers for Ato Essien pleaded for an additional 6 months when the case was called on Thursday. He noted that he had hoped the convict would take advantage of the long break to raise the remainder of the money. Prosecution filed a motion to impose custodial sentence after it became apparent that the convicts would not be able to pay the remaining 53 million cedis. Justice Eric Chey Balfour described William Ato Essien's offences as grave, something that had resulted in several customers of the defunct Capital Bank losing their jobs, some of whom were still looking for employment today. Reading his judgment, the presiding judge sentenced Ato Essien to 95 years in prison and hard labor for the 16 counts of stealing and money laundering. The terms will, however, run concurrently. Hence, he is to spend 15 years in jail. Lodi Dwasari, TV3 News, Accra High Court.
Right, so there have been reactions, many of it coming in as a result of the final sentencing that came in earlier today. In reaction to it, one of the persons who spoke, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tiahene, I beg your pardon, Alfred Tiaheboa, has expressed satisfaction at the court's decision. He tells TV3 that part of the funds have been recovered and the convict could appeal against his sentence if he pays the rest of the money.
Now that he's been imprisoned, if he gets the money to pay, that's another ball game. We'll look at it. Because after the court has given delivered its ruling or judgment, the court becomes factus official. And so my expectation is that when he pays, then perhaps it will go into mitigate when he wants to appeal against the sentence. But I'm here to get a full ruling. We'll go through it and see what the judge said. But so far as we are concerned, he's been sentenced into 15 years imprisonment. Let's hope that he gets the money to pay. And let me also add, even if he's going to serve the 15 years, Ghanaians have also benefited somehow because at least 37 million has been paid to the state. If he had been sentenced last year, we couldn't have even recovered a cedi or a peswa. So there's no utility in the decision that we took last year concerning our decision to enter into an agreement with him to take advantage of such 35. If nothing at all, the state is now richer by 37+ million Ghana cedis.
The goal is to recover the monies, but Capital Bank is one of several banks that collapsed. And I mean, what happens to the other banks that are pending? I mean, you need to recover those monies as well to the customers.
Yeah, as we speak, we have other cases in court. Beige Capital is in court. We are hearing the matter, and then I don't know when we'll be able to finish, but we've gone far. UT is also in court. Then you have other banks, Dr. Dufour's Bank, they're also in court. So there's a series of cases in court. We are doing them one after the other, and let's get there.
All right, so that's Deputy Attorney General expressing, satisfaction to the court's decision to slap 15-year jail term on William Ato Essien. And it comes on the back of government's decision to clean up the banking sector. Many of you recall that it raised quite some discomfort, especially in the finance sector. And there are those who have also raised concerns about the lack of action being taken on the part of government to punish or get to the bottom of a number of the issues. And you heard the Deputy Attorney General talk about other banks also being in court. He mentions UT Bank and also that of Dr. Kwabena Dufour, who are also being investigated. I beg your pardon, Parkwesi Indum, that is Dr. Indum's bank, that's the Indum group of companies. The bank is also being investigated by government for a number of infractions, which was a part of the government banking sector cleanup. So just a quick wrap of what has gone on regarding Capital Bank, which was founded by Ato Essien. It started around 2017, August, where the Bank of Ghana revoked its license and declared it insolvent due to still a number of issues that were raised about the money or the capital that the bank needed to run its processes. Then, that same month of August in 2017, Mr. Ato Essien and 3 others were charged with multiple counts of stealing and money laundering of various sums of money in excess of 250 million Ghana cedis. Later in 2022, about 3 years from then or so, Mr. Ato Essien entered into an agreement to refund 90 million cedis or be sentenced. So that was after he himself had pleaded guilty to the charges that were leveled against him, and all other persons were found not guilty to the charges that was brought by the court. Fast forward to 2023, in April specifically, the Attorney General applied for custodial sentence, saying that the payment terms have been breached, where after Mr. Ato Essien had asked for a number of days to make the 90 million Ghana cedi payment, he seemed to have breached it a number of times. And later in September 2023, Mr. Ato Essien, that is today, was sentenced to 15 years for paying only 37 million Ghana cedis out of the 90 million Ghana cedis. And the reactions have been coming in thick and fast, especially even on social media. If you go to Twitter right now, the #1 trend in Ghana is Ato Essien. We've also been speaking to the Director of Operations at Dalex Finance, that is Joe Jackson, and these are his words. First of all, we asked him what he made of the sentence and what kind of implications this could have for the banking sector.
Well, first of all, my initial thought was sadness. And sadness, my sadness was on two levels. Number one is that more than a conviction, we really need to get our money back. The public purse was raided to resolve this issue. And if there's an establishment that funds have been misused, we have to get the money back. And so the conviction just shows that we haven't still been able to get the money back. And for me, that's sad. And then the second level of sadness is this. You see, Capital Bank represented local, indigenous ownership of our financial sector. Nobody is going to grow this country or our financial sector for us. Eventually, Ghanaians have to own it so that we can do the best for this country and not ship the money out or ship the money in, depending on where you stand. Now, for those who want to hand over our financial sector to foreigners, they will point to this and weaponize it. They'll point to this and weaponize it and say, once more, this is just evidence that the Ghanaians can't handle the financial sector. Listen, we do have problems. We do have governance issues. We do have conflicts of interest. We do have insider trading. We do have related party transactions and all those things. But despite our problems, we must find a way to get Ghanaian ownership. And for me, Capital Bank will be weaponized by those who just want to hand over our financial sector to foreigners.
Okay.
That is sad.
And still on this subject, we asked whether or not this sentencing would rather engender confidence in private sector and people who would want to invest in Ghana's financial sector and grow the indigenous interest in Ghana's banking sector. Satu, I beg your pardon, Joe Jackson actually thinks that's what the next line of action could bring.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Listen, anytime there's malfeasance, and there's evidence that it has been, the light of day has been applied to it. And not only has the light of day been applied to it, those who did wrong have been convicted. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing, not just for the financial sector alone, but all of corporate Ghana. So in that sense, showing that our legal systems work, showing that you can't get away with doing the wrong thing. That's wonderful.
Right.
In another development in courts today, the Chief Justice has begun a probe to determine whether a new High Court judge should be tasked to handle the Cecilia Dapaah case. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has filed a petition claiming that current Judge Edward Chum is biased.
The Special Prosecutor believes he will get a fair trial and it will be in the interest of justice if a new judge handles the case. Lawyers from the office were not present in court, but a representative who showed up informed the court of the letter that had been made available. Justice Edward Chum, who is handling the case, indicated that he had been made aware of a petition to the Chief Justice asking that he recuses himself. Lawyers for Madam Dapaah, led by Victoria Bath, were not impressed with this development, as she informed the court that it was an ill-fated application geared at frustrating Madam Dapaah, and so she wanted to put that forcefully on record. The court therefore adjourned that particular case to the October 18. That case is in respect of the request for there should be a confirmation of the seizure and freezing order that was issued by the Office of Special Prosecutor. In respect of the second case, that is the criminal case against Cecilia Dapaah for failing to comply with a lawful demand by the Special Prosecutor, that one also, a petition has been sent to the Chief Justice as well, asking for a new judge. And so that case was also adjourned to October 18. For TV3, from the Law Court Complex, Joseph Akabile reporting.
Now, speakers at the Media General National Dialogue on Asset Declaration in the country are advocating for a more stringent sanction regime for public office holders involved in asset declaration processes. They contend that public officers do not attach seriousness to the process because there is no clear punishment for not complying with the requirement.
The Public Office Holder Declaration of Assets and Disqualification Act 1998 Act 550 requires all public office holders to declare their assets and liabilities before assuming office. Failure to do this will require that the office holder is investigated and sanctioned accordingly. But Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Joseph Withal argues that the sanctions are not punitive enough.
If you look at since the 1992 Constitution came into being, Chapter 24 only gave a skeletal outline of what requires to be done. The nearest we came to is to pass the Act 550, which is the Public Officers Qualification and Disqualification Assets Declaration Act. And that, I think, was a shoddy job done by Parliament. I must say, with all respect to Parliament. If you look at what should be in an asset declaration law, what is provided there is as if we are taking public service as a process by which we want to hide public servants from the people who they are supposed to serve. Public service is a trust. If you want to govern the people well, let the people know before you came into office what assets and liabilities you had. I stress the liabilities too, because if you are somebody who is indebted and you come and you take public office, the likelihood is that you may not be able to do, you may be looking for resources to take care of your liabilities. So we should make sure that we keep the balance very well.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu noted that the current form of the Conduct of Public Officers Bill before Parliament needs review.
There must be an improvement on this one. This can't be the one, because if it's we call it 2022, this one is just a repetition of the current constitutional provision, Article 286, right? So it tells you that there is a newer and better version. The US one, you have to apply. Kenya, you have to apply. I've been circulating that because I pulled the Kenyan one off the net, and you see that you apply, and they look at the reasons and determine to give you or not to give you.
The focus of the program is to prevent political corruption by requiring public office holders to declare their assets. And the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, says spouses of public office holders should also be compelled to declare their assets.
That expectation also that if you are in public office, you should amass all these assets and whatever, is also a problem that we have to confront. Publication, regularity, even expanding it to spouses. And other, because that's, I mean, the evidence is there. We can look at how corruption occurs in our space. And there are cases, convictions, that we know exactly the DNA of corruption in this place. And that should guide us when we are legislating on how to stop it.
The dialogue was on the theme Fighting Public Sector Corruption in Ghana, making a case for an effective assets declaration law.
Let's now go to the Volta region, where the floods in part of the region following excess water spillage from the Akonsombo and Thorn dams have reached catastrophic levels. Many more communities in the region are bearing the brunt, with schools closed down, roads ripped apart and power supply cut off. Joseph Armstrong has been touring affected communities.
This is the Mefe Aflao or Sogankope Road. Currently, as I speak to you, commuters are in distress as they cannot move from Mefe to Sogankope or Aflao. As I speak to you right now, the flood waters, as a result of the spillage, has taken over the main road. I'm fortunate to have here with us the district park commander, that is DO3 Alice Lawrence Ado.
As a result of the spillage, the community, initially the community on the other side were affected. So we were trying to rescue, And now, this morning, we have realized that the other communities have also been affected. As the spillage, the water has been able to cross the road to the other part of the community. So those drivers who will be trying to plow this route to Sogankope are not advised to use it because the road is totally blocked for now.
So first of all, we are hearing that the hospital, that is the Komboni Hospital, has been hit by the flood waters.
The hospital is not affected, but the Nephis office, that is the area that the flood is. And we are envisaging that with what is happening at this site, it will affect our mortgage. We pray that God takes care of this.
You still have human remains in there? You still have bodies in there?
We have about 250 bodies.
About 250 bodies?
Yes.
And what would that mean should the flood hit that side? What will it mean to general public?
In actual fact, the management have just ended the meeting. I don't know if you saw some people coming out of one of the conferences. I am in discussion with the district hospital management to try to.
Meanwhile, the Volta River Authority says it is closely monitoring inflows into the two dam reservoirs and would take a decision as to when to close the spill gates to stop spilling when it deems fit to maintain the integrity of the dam.
We are at phase 2 right now, and it's a cycle. It's normal at this time of the year for us to experience inflows. The difference is that we are getting more than expected. And to safeguard this dam, it means that we have to spill water. That is the standard operation for any hydro dam. But the inflows that we are experiencing now, of course, are in excess, and therefore you see what we are spilling down there. Definitely, as the cycle goes through, this will recede. So we are hoping that it will recede in a shorter time. The spilling may continue, even though we are anticipating that the levels may drop down to the phase 1, which was started since September 15th, and of course we did not have much purchases like what we are seeing now. This is an emergency, as I've explained from beginning, and whether dredging or no dredging, it is an emergency. The volumes of water that is coming into the lake right now, which we have to throw out, it means that we need to evacuate people from wherever they are and make sure that they are safe until the inflows recede.
In more news tonight, the meeting between aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management and officials of the Finance Ministry has hit a dead end. This is the meeting that prompted the suspension of a continuous 48-hour protest at the ministry.
Leadership of the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Company will be meeting once again with the Ministry of Finance in the next 2 weeks to discuss their concerns over the 5.5 billion cedis owed them. Now, this follows an inconclusive meeting with the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Amin Adam.
We are privy that monies meant for our payments, the Finance Ministry claims it has been spent, whilst we have not received those payments. In fact, they were not forthcoming with information on that request, that whether these monies have been spent by Finance Ministry or not. But they promised that in our subsequent meeting, which is going to be held next 2 weeks, they will provide full accounts on that money that the ministry is claiming they have spent.
On Wednesday, October 11, the Securities and Exchange Commission issued a statement blaming the delay of the payment of funds principally on a legal action by Gold Coast contesting the liquidation petition by the Office of the Registrar of Companies after the revocation of their license. Now, the group, however, says it is not moved by these comments.
They made it point blank to us that they cannot sanction our full payments without dealing with the liquidation order issue in court. But we also put out an argument that whether the liquidation order or not, this partial bailout of 50,000 capped amount paid some of our customers entirely off. Because those whose investment were not more than 50,000, though there's a liquidation case pending in court, the partial bailout paid them off completely. So the government has no grounds to use that unless they get liquidation or that they will not pay us. If it happens that way, it means that the government is punishing those of the investors who invested more.
The Finance Ministry has agreed to meet with the Attorney General and the Securities and Exchange Commission to find a level ground where all parties are satisfied. For now, the aggrieved customers say their protest remains suspended pending their meeting with the ministry in 2 weeks. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Finance Ministry, Accra.
And we as your Election Command Center are going straight into some political related stories now. The Presidential Election Committee of the New Patriotic Party has furnished all flag bearer aspirants with the electoral register for the crucial November 4 presidential primary. Chairman of the committee, Professor Mike Okwe, who spoke to the media after a meeting, indicated that the register will be the official delegates list for the election.
We want to let the public know, and remember, especially you, the media, that the present album is not a conclusive document. You start from somewhere, and in the process, people who should not be there should be weaned out. People who should have been there but are not there are also added, and that is the process. So actually, it's an initial list, and it is not a final list at all. All the candidates have been given copies, and if they have any misgivings or any suggestions, any additions or subtractions, they are most welcome to participate by way of bringing these to our attention. This we have done to a very considerable extent today.
Pressure Group Fixing the Country movement has announced an agreement with the police to picket at the office of the Special Prosecutor and the former President John Mahama's office in the Airbus scandal the OSP once investigated on November 16. The group is demanding a thorough inquiry into the matter by state agencies.
2011 bought 3 military airplanes, the C-295s from Airbus. The nation received its first C-295 in November 2011, the second in April 2012, and the third in November 2015. The deals covering them were argued at the time to be in line with the 2009-2012 strategic plan of the Ghana Armed Forces. All three purchases approved by Ghana's Parliament after heated disagreements on the floor were roundly marketed by the government of the day as a drive to modernize Ghana's Air Force. Well, a judgment by England's Crown Court in Southwark later gave a new life to to earlier suspicions that the agreements covering C295s especially were corrupt. The court, however, took the view that prosecuting Airbus would, among other things, lead to massive job losses and decimates the company's performance on the stock market in the immediate to long term. The judgment, the British court stated that the Stewart Fraud Office investigations found that Airbus, which has since agreed to pay over £3 billion in fines, had engaged in schemes that involved bribing its way to lucrative contracts in countries such as Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Ghana. The then Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu said he had established the identity of the elected government official one in the Airbus scandal as former head of state John Dramani Mahama, who never offered to make any voluntary statement to his office. Fixing the country, says justice must be served.
As a citizen or a trusted citizen or trusting citizen of Ghana, we want Ghanaian justice system to open a thorough inquiry on the Airbus corruption, because we strongly believe that the former president, John Dramani Mahama, is culpable in this stinking corruption case, as established an admission and support court documents in the US and the United Kingdom. And we want to reiterate the point that no one is above accountability. If after 16th November, public manifestation or the picketing, there are still no action in this regard, Fixing the Country movement will continue to put pressure on the investigative bodies across country to lead a citizen, another citizen coalition to congregate and picket in front of the office of the former president until we get an adequate answer. We have received threats from the other side of the NDC, giving us threats that when we come there, we should bring our caskets and all that. We are law-abiding citizens, and we want to sound this warning to them that we are not cowards. We are waiting for the D-Day, the 16th, when we start to picket. Let them dare try and make a move.
This is still News 360 on TV3. We're taking a quick breather. When we return, we'll let you know what's happening in business, sports, and entertainment. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased. But now she's asking, Why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security goat to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Choose Sukasa for the highest quality, luxurious townhouses in East Lagoon Hills. 2, 3, and 4 bedroom in a gated community starting at $40,000 in Accra, Ghana. Sukasa, building on trust.
Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, we did what Ponsano and Casa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, never shrink quite far.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Drania de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fieni fie. It's delicious, yo!
This advert is FDA approved.
Is brought to you by MTN.
It's now time for the latest in the world of business news. And Michael, mixed reactions to inflation.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So some economists think that the recent decline is an indication of light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Some think, well, Christmas is coming. Things will still get quite worrying.
Give us the details.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. My name is Michael Obudu. Now, the future trajectory of inflation in Ghana for the remainder of the year has sparked a range of opinions among economists. While some experts believe that the inflation rate may drop below 30%, others anticipate a marginal increase. Well, I bring you more on this story in this report. This year, Ghana's inflation rate hit a 12-month low, with annual inflation decreasing from 40.1% in August to 38.1%. Economists like Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie view this as a positive sign for the future.
It's good news, and we should continue a continuous downward trend of this inflation rate. We expect it to fall below 30% even by the end of the year.
However, not all experts share this perspective. Economist Sarah Mkawo believes that uncertainties remain and the situation may become more complex.
It's going to be very difficult to sustain it during this very period because we are getting to the festive season where a lot of imports are going to come in. Prices of commodities generally will increase during that particular period. We have seen a rate of increase in the fuel prices that we have.
On the other hand, economist Professor Peter Quarty suggests that the status quo might largely persist.
Given that one, we are under IMF program and there is some credibility, there's some relative stability in the exchange rate. So if the exchange rate doesn't depreciate, depreciate quite rapidly, which I don't expect it to do, then the effect, rising inflation, we may record a marginal inflation, an increase or perhaps remain the same.
Michael Obudu, 3 Business. Now, Ghana is set to benefit from a $50 million strategic investment from the United States International Development Finance Corporation. The amount is expected to be applied towards expanding the country's digital infrastructure to improve internet connectivity and enhance business transactions. The African Data Centers, a Pan-African technology group, signed a memorandum of understanding with the United States International Development Finance Corporation to leverage the corporation's financing commitment to construct a first-of-its-kind data center in Ghana.
Currently, we are targeting to build 30 megawatts of capacity through multiple phases in Ghana. That's what we'll deliver. Initially, we will start with a 5-megawatt design, which is what you see on your screens. And we are finalizing all the design work for that, and hopefully we'll get started within the next 12 months.
Chief Executive of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, Scott Nathan, said his outfit is committed to helping communities and businesses develop.
DFC is focused on helping communities through supporting their development, economic growth, opportunity for people, jobs. But really, there's very few areas that are more important for economic development than the kind of infrastructure necessary to connect to the world in the 21st century.
For her part, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, reiterated her outfit's commitment to addressing cybersecurity threats in Ghana.
We hosted 7 U.S. cybersecurity, technology, and service providers, and they met with local partners and government officials to help address cybersecurity threats in Ghana, so we hope that there's more business there, and the data center will only stimulate that.
The $50 million investment to Ghana is a drawdown from a $300 million strategic investment earmarked for executing an ambitious plan to build data centers in 10 of Africa's largest economic capitals. Now, Black Shield Capital Management Limited has blamed the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for the delay in payment of bailout funds to affected customers in a response to a SEC release. Now, Black Shield denies that the delay is due to legal action by the company, as indicated in the statement. Instead, it blames the SEC for not allowing due process to play out before withdrawing the company's license and refusing to assist the company in collecting debt owed it by some government institutions. And that will be all for the business segment here on News 360. For more business stories, our website 3news.com is there for you. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe. Up next, sports.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security goat to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family, because every smile matters.
New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Hey, gee. My head really aches. Feeling cold and feverish.
Ah, sorry. I know the solution to your problem. It is Procode.
Procode? I bought some 3 days ago, but I'm not seeing any improvement. You can even have a look.
Let me look at it. Ah, this is fake. Let's go to the drugstore. Please, we want Procode. No, not this.
Oh, but this does the same work, and it's even far cheaper.
No, we insist you give us Procode from Kojak. I don't understand why people give this fake Procode. And where they don't give the fake one, then they give you a similar one with a different name and tell you it works the same. But it is not so. The only Procode we know is from Kojak. If it's not Procode from Kojak, then we won't accept it.
Wow! So this is the original Procode. It has the logo and Kojak boldly written on it.
Yes, for quick and effective relief from headache, flu, nasal congestion and other feverish conditions, insist on Procode from Kojak.
Procode, K-O-J-A-C-H. Procode.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every
solution is the right one. Pick the right solution with Vodafone One Business, your all-in-one solutions package for all your business's communication needs. Call 050-777-9000 or email sme@vodafone.com today.
It is brought to you by Bell Pack Tissues.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for sports. Yao Fosulabe is with us. Big news.
Yeah, so the AFCON draw is tonight and it's happening right at this moment, and my colleague Ore Kwampofo is there. So we'll be hearing from him on the ground there. But let's check out what's happening this evening on sports on News 360. And the 2023 AFCON draw has started in Ivory Coast with 24 teams set to battle for the prestigious AFCON title. My colleague Ore Kwampofo is at the venue and has this report.
2023 Africa Cup of Nations draw is currently underway at the Parc d'Exposition here in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. And we do know that the Black Stars are in pot 2 and could potentially get a difficult group, especially when you're looking at the teams in pot 1, where they could face host Ivory Coast. They could face Morocco, who reached the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. They could also face Algeria, who have been strong. Tunisia are also in there. Remember, they knocked the Black Stars out of the AFCON in 2019. And then there's also Senegal, who are also AFCON champions themselves, winning the 2021 edition. And so it's a very difficult path for the Black Stars. But what we do also know is that because Nigeria are in pot 2, the two countries would not be facing off. Although they could meet South Africa, a team that has become the rivals of the Black Stars in the past few years, considering that South Africa are in pot 3. And so a lot of permutations currently ongoing as Ghanaians eagerly await for who would be in the group of the Black Stars. Just a fun fact, the last time Ivory Coast hosted the Africa Cup of Nations was all the way back in 1984, where the Black Stars failed to win a game, picking up just 2 points at the group stages and did not qualify out of their group. The 4-time AFCON champions will be hoping that this time they do not suffer a similar fate. Ore Kwampofo reporting.
Right, so that fact from Ore Kwampofo there, the debacle of Bouake, and that's what happened to the Black Stars in 1984. But let's check out how the Black Stars can fare in these pots away from here. Now, the pot 1 has Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, Tunisia, and Algeria, as well as Egypt. And the Black Stars will have to face one of these guys because one of these teams will get into the pots with the Black Stars. The Black Stars are in pot 2. And so they'll be waiting to get into a group of one of the guys in pot 3 as well, because the Republic of South Africa are also in pot 3, Cape Verde, Guinea, Zambia, who won the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, Equatorial Guinea, and then Mauritania in there. And then the last pot also has Guinea-Bissau in there, Angola, who are returning, and then Tanzania, as well as Namibia and Mozambique as well, and Gambia as well, who also qualified on the very last day in the AFCON there. So there could potentially be an Ivory Coast, Ghana, South Africa and Gambia group, and we're just looking to see what group the Black Stars would be in the next few minutes. But hopefully we get a really good group so we can survive in next year's AFCON. My name is Yao Fosulabi. That's all the sports.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water. One for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA.
Mommy.
Michelle say. Fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Choco Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities of 1,000 cedis and upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID, no savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. Call Quick Credit today, 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
When you're little, days are extremely busy. Work, traffic jams, meetings, conference calls. Luckily, our mom is here to take good care of us with Day-by-Day Baby and Day-by-Day Kids and their naturally active ingredients. Our skin is hydrated, soothed, and protected all day long. Yes, hello?
Every solution is the right one. Pick the right solution with Vodafone One Business, your all-in-one solutions package for all your business's communication needs. Call 050-777-9000 or email sme@vodafone.com today.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, GTP, Lifestyled, Vodafone, Further Together, and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Time for entertainment. Anita is with us. Anita, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufuan. Aimed at celebrating literature and other art forms across the world, the 2023 Peja Festival is slated for the 13th to 15th of October 2023. And speaking at the launch of this year's event, Director of Peja Festival, Martin Egblewogbe, noted that the 3-day event will celebrate works of renowned Ghanaian poet and author, late Ama Ata Edu.
These poems, these verses, these poems are petals meant for you to tiptoe into.
For the past 6 years, the Writers Project Ghana have assembled some of the continent's top writers and literature lovers for the Peja Festival. Aimed at igniting passion in the literary arts, the 2023 event has a unique lineup of activities, including workshops, film screenings, readings, and a host of others. Martin Egblewogbe is the director for the Peja Festival.
We believe very strongly that literature is a foundational stone when it comes to arts. You know, the transmission of ideas, transmission of knowledge all comes about through writing. And so for us, it's really important that we do something that brings writers, authors, literature into the limelight. It's an extremely important thing for us. just beyond the fact that you are engaging with different people, you also are actually creating community. There is actually a business aspect to all this. The literature is a big industry. Publishing can actually earn a lot. We have big publishers that make a lot of money through the sales of their books, and the industry here, the publishing industry here, has great potential.
The three-day event, which begins on the 13th of October through to the 15th of October, will be held at the Goethe Institute, Ghana. Speaking to 3 Entertainment at the launch of this year's event, Jonas Claes, Deputy Head of Delegation at the European Union, is excited to partner this year's festival to help make culture accessible to all.
It's indeed the second year in a row that we'll be supporting this festival, and the reasons are twofold. First of all, we would like to really help make culture accessible to all, including young people. And secondly, we notice that support for culture can also be a jumping board for improved access to education and further on employment. Right. Well, we're really keen on making sure that Ghanaian and African literature can be made more accessible to Europe and vice versa. So we're also pleased to see some European writers joining here. Specifically, there will be somebody from the Netherlands joining us during the festival. So that's something that I'll be looking forward to more specifically.
And still in entertainment, globally acclaimed Ghanaian singer and 3-time Grammy nominee Rocky Dawouni has advised up-and-coming artists to focus more on improving their craft and work on creating meaningful lyrics to impact and inspire listeners. He spoke on TV3 New Day.
Let's talk about it under the shade tree. But it also shows the impact of our music. And it's also something that I keep telling a lot of artists who come to me and like, what is it? I was like, focus on your craft, work on your lyrics. You know, you can always be enamored by, you know, like hits. You know, hits are today, tomorrow is forgotten if it doesn't have like really something that is really integral to the song. And so I always try to say that, you know, we should work hard to create a holistic approach to songwriting and also let our words to mean something.
And that'll be all for the entertainment news segment. Up next is international news. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu. Have a good evening.
Coming up more than 600 people, mostly children, have died of diphtheria in Nigeria since the current outbreak began in December 2022, with 14,000 suspected cases. This outbreak is far worse than the last one in 2011. 98 cases were reported. The death toll has risen since 24th September, when the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) reported 453 fatalities and 11,587 suspected cases. Diphtheria is highly contagious and affects the nose and throat. It is spread by coughs and sneezes or through close contact with someone who is infected. According to the UN's World Food Programme, the situation in Gaza is dire, with food and water running out during an Israeli siege. Gaza is relying on generators after its only power station ran out of fuel, but Israel says its blockage will not end until Israeli hostages are released. At least 150 hostages were taken into Gaza during Hamas' deadly attacks at the weekend that killed 1,300 people.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for sharing the last hour with us. My name is Martin Esiedu-Date.
I am Portia Gabodu. Join us again at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight.
Remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning when you wake up from bed with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection. Because with Pepsodent, every smile matters.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up. and thrive at every stage of her life?